All right, let's talk about something every apprentice knows all too well, that end-of-the-month panic trying to log your off-the-job training hours. It can be a total nightmare, right? Well, today we're going to dive into a guide that uses AI to make that whole process way easier. We're talking about turning a massive chore into a simple checkup. Let's get into it. So, does this picture look familiar? It's the end of the month, you're staring at that blank timesheet, trying to remember what you did 3 weeks ago on a Tuesday. Did I shadow someone? Was that a training session? It's a huge headache, and honestly, it means a ton of valuable training hours just get lost. Okay, just to make sure we're all on the same page here, let's quickly define off-the-job training, or OTJ. This is a must-do for English apprenticeships, and the key phrases to remember are new learning and separate from your usual job duties. So we're talking about things like workshops, mentoring, or picking up a brand new skill, not just doing your everyday tasks. And that gets us right to the heart of the problem. When you have to rely on your memory to fill out that log, it becomes less about tracking and more about, well, a really hard memory test. It's so easy to forget those small, informal learning moments that definitely, absolutely count toward your goal. So what's the solution? Well, meet Notebook LM. Now, this is not a magic wand that solves everything instantly. Think of it more like your personal research assistant. Its whole job is to do the heavy lifting for you, sifting through all your digital notes and calendars to find those learning hours you probably forgot about. So what's it actually doing? Well, it scans things you already have, like your calendar or meeting notes, and it flags anything that looks like it could be training. And what's really cool is it tries to filter out stuff that doesn't count, like your standard progress reviews. Then it gives each finding a score and hands you a draft log. This just completely changes the game. And this is a big but. Here's the catch. This is probably the most important thing to understand. The AI is only as smart as the information you give it. Your results are going to be directly tied to the quality of your data. You've heard it before, garbage in, garbage out. I'm going to let that sit there for a second. The AI is only as good as the data it reads. This is the #1 rule for making this whole system work. The time you put in upfront to have good, clean data is what makes the automation at the end even possible. And this slide just shows you how simple it can be. Look at the difference here. Catch up with Sarah. What is the AI supposed to do with that? Nothing. But if you call it a mentoring session or shadowing, you're using these magic keywords that the AI is programmed to look for. It's a small change for you that makes a huge difference for the tool. So what kind of stuff should you be feeding this thing? Well, anything with clear text is best. Meeting transcripts are absolute gold. Weekly notes or work diaries are great too. And for your calendar, the guide is super specific. You need to export it as a PDF, but in a list or schedule view, not the grid. And this brings me to a really critical warning. Do not, I repeat, do not just take a screenshot of your calendar grid. The AI technically can look at images, but it's terrible at reading the text from a flat picture like that. All that great information in your calendar events will just be lost. Okay, so let's say you've done everything right. You've uploaded some good, high-quality documents. The AI spits out a table, and in that table is a column called the confidence score. This is where the human element is so important. That score is basically the AI's way of saying, hey, I've found some stuff, but I really need you to double-check my work. And this table breaks it down perfectly. A high score? That's a no-brainer. The title was something obvious like Introduction to Project Management. A low score is for your regular stuff, like a weekly team update, which is probably just work. But medium? That's the interesting one. That's for the gray areas, like mentoring, that really need your expert eye to make the final call. And that leads us to what is, without a doubt, the most important part of this whole process. The AI is an amazing assistant, but it's not the boss. It suggests things based on patterns in the data, but you, the apprentice, you are always the final judge. You have to verify everything. So let me be really clear about this. That table you get from Notebook LM is only a draft. It's just a starting point. Your personal knowledge of your job and what counts for your apprenticeship, that's the secret ingredient you have to add to confirm if something really was off-the-job training. So how do you check the AI's work with this super simple 3-point test? For every single thing the AI finds, especially those medium and low confidence ones, just ask yourself these 3 questions. Was it new? Was it relevant? And was it different from my normal job? If you can say yes to all 3, you're good to go. This is your personal quality check. So you see, when you put it all together, you feed it good data, and then you apply your own brain at the end, you completely change what you're doing.
It's no longer that stressful test of your own memory.
And this quote from the guide just nails it. You're not trying to create something out of thin air anymore. Instead, you're a reviewer, you're an editor. You're looking at a well-researched draft and just using your expertise to say yes, no, or maybe. It is a much smarter, much less stressful way to work.
So, feel like giving it a shot? Getting started is actually really simple. Just grab last month's calendar, and remember, export it as a list view PDF. Upload that along with any notes or transcripts you have, and then run the prompt. You could have your first draft ready in just a few minutes. So, I'll leave you with this question. Once you switch from trying to remember everything to just verifying a smart draft, how many of those forgotten hours are you going to find? What hidden learning is waiting in your calendar right now that you could be getting credit for?